So this is the upright baby in prop. When I'm using props to place a baby upright with its chin on the back of its hands, I want to make sure that the baby is positioned firmly and securely inside the prop and it's comfortable at all times. I'm also going to use a spotter or an assistant. I like to use parents because I get them involved in the shoot, but I know a lot of photographers that also use assistants. So what I've got here is just some wool batting, and then inside the prop I've got some cloth towels, and then I'm just going to line that to create that shelf inside for the baby's chest to rest up on top of. Now the prop is also quite a hard surface. It's a wooden prop, so I want to make sure that the baby hasn't got any contact with any of that, because even though it's nice and smooth, some props can be very, very rough, and we want to make sure that the baby's delicate skin is protected at all times, but also, you know, that beautiful soft skin on a hard surface, it just for me personally doesn't make it look comfortable. So I'm bringing this down, and what I'm going to use are some of my little soft pillows here that are perfect for lining props. Another one behind me. So I'm going to place one at the back of the prop. Because he's going to come in on his tummy and up, I need to make sure that he's got some support at his lower end. And then up here, placing this inside. He's going to be able to rest up gently on that, and I can bring this over the top. But I want to make sure that I've got it nice and high. Now, you have to be careful when you have them inside a prop coming upright. If there's not enough support underneath them, they're going to look like they're sinking inside the prop. If there's too much, they're going to look like they're falling over the top. So you've got to judge how big your baby is, and he's fairly average in size, so I want to make sure that his body is securely in there and it's not too low or too high. So I've got some more cloth towels here. And we can fold these over to start making that shelf there. These are great because they're soft, but they're also nice and firm. You can see that slope now, so he's going to get a lot of support through his chest area and his arms. Might pull these off for now. We'll see how we go without them. We're going to be able to tuck that in once he's in there. What I also like to do is just drape some fabric across the top, position the baby, and then bring that back across their shoulders. So we've got the perfect spot for his little bottom and legs to go, and he's going to have a lot of support up here around his arms and wrists. So I want to bring his little arms up before I place him inside the prop, and we're going to use our spotter. So we might get you to come and sit in next to the prop over here, and if you face the wall with your legs out that way, thanks Lydia, so bring your legs out straight that way, and you can bring your bottom in as close as you like and legs pointing out that way. That way we have a hand that's there supporting the baby at all times, and when I'm taking the shot, her legs are off in the distance. I'm not going to be in my image, but she's also nice and comfortable and stable. Okay, so just getting his little elbows and hands in place here with his head, it's going to make it a lot easier to transition him over into the prop. I want to make sure that his feet are tucked up comfortably underneath him. And just resting him back into my body. I'll wait for him to relax. He's pushing down there, that's fine. Now, putting a baby inside a prop like this when they're awake and they are kicking and screaming and fidgeting is just going to make them even more upset. Like, so you want to make sure your baby's nice and content, nice and sleepy, so they're not moving around, because it is a hard surface and they are and they could hurt themselves. So I'm just waiting for him to relax his little legs before I move him. And while I bring him down, I just want you to raise your hand for me. And if he moves, just bring your hand down onto his back. Nice. Pull that up around his shoulders so he's nice and comfortable. Okay, so when I'm using a prop like this, a bucket or a wooden crate or anything where I'm going to put the baby upright, I want to bring the elbows apart so the hands sit on top of one another. If the elbows are too close together, just place your hand here for me. If the elbows are too close together, the big arms become quite bulky up underneath that chin. So we're going to bring the elbows apart so the hands sit nice and flat. If the hands are back in under the chin, the head's going to fall forward, and obviously if they're too far forward, they're going to cover part of the face. So I always aim to have just the jawline sitting on the back of the hand right there. Tuck these sides in now that he's in there. Okay. So just bring your hand down a little lower. Just let that rest gently there. So I'm going to bring this back elbow forward, taking the weight of his head off the prop and just bringing that elbow forward. There's the hand. Now we want to bring the other hand that's down in underneath that chin forward to come up, and then bring that chin around. So I'm going to place my finger down in behind that wrist and pull it forward as I take the weight of his head. There it is. And we want to bring the wrists in so we can see the fingers, because if the wrists are out, we won't be able to see all of the fingers. There we go. Good boy. Keeping my fingers at the back of this elbow, I'm just going to gently rock his head to bring that chin around on the back of this hand. There we go. Open up those fingers. Push that wrist in. Thumb is up underneath those fingers, it's going to make it hard for them to sit flat. So I'm pushing that thumb back so it's in underneath his chin. Just getting those nice and comfortable and flat. So I want to be careful with my light. If it's coming up towards that nose, it's going to create some shadows up here. So we might be better off turning the prop towards the light and then turning his head back this way, away from the light. Gently rocking. Got our fingers in position. Turning the head this way. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to let him sink into that. And we just need to put a little bit of support underneath those hands to bring them up a bit. He's just having a little wriggle there. Okay. So what I might get you to do is bring your bottom back this way towards me, and with straight legs just out into the distance, and then this hand is going to be our support hand. This is how I get all of my assistant spotters to sit, because they're nice and comfortable, and when I shoot down like this, their legs aren't in my background. Might actually just bring this hand over the top because it's gone down in underneath that chin. There we go. So we're ready to take our shot. I can see that light coming down across his eyebrow, across that nose. We're still at a 45-degree angle. Wait for him to stop fidgeting because we don't want him moving when we take our photo. So I'm going to get my exposure shot first, always with the support hand there, and back down. So I'll always get my pullback shot and then I'll come in and get a close-up shot. But when I get my close-up shot, I want to make sure that those fingers are nice and perfect. So I'm just going to bring this hand a little bit further across and bend that wrist in. I've photographed babies that do not want to let go of a fist, and that can make it a little tricky to get these poses because the fist can look sort of a little uncomfortable in underneath their chins. But eventually, most of them do relax their hands. You can see how he's tensing his hand up in underneath there. There we go. Straighten those fingers out. Giving that elbow a little bit more support underneath to stop the head from tilting over. Okay, on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3, perfect. Rightio, and that's pretty much how I position all babies inside either props or buckets or anything like that. You can see we've got a little guy who's not in a deep sleep, he's a little bit fidgety, but that's how most babies are. It's very rare that you'll find a baby that's completely out to it for the whole session. So there are going to be some times when you've got to be a little bit more patient just to get those fingers and everything in position.